I show 10 as well, so you can start the meeting.
Thank you. Today is January 14, 2021, and this is the 683rd Regular Racing Commission meeting for the Arizona Racing Commission. I am Commission Secretary Cassie Goodwin. I will proceed with the roll call. Commissioner Coolidge?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Garay?
Present.
Commissioner Hover?
Present.
Commissioner Profiter?
Present.
Thank you. It is 10 a.m. We have a quorum, and by the way, this meeting is taking place via Google Meetings. Thank you, sir. It's all yours.
All right, at this point in time, calling to order the 683rd Regular Arizona Racing Commission. Today is January 14th, 2021. First item is B1, and we do have two people signed up to speak on this item, so I will go to them first. Mr. Sims, are you with us?
I'm not, it's not necessary for me to talk on that.
All right, Mr. Arthur? Tom?
Which item are we on? Are we on B or C?
B. And you're signed up for B1 and B2, so I didn't know if you wanted to speak or we can move on.
Be signed up for. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sign up for B1. That's the executive session one.
Yeah.
Did I make a mistake? I meant to sign up for C.
You are signed up for C2 as well. So, okay.
Yeah, B is just whether or not you folks want to go in the executive session on the two lawsuits.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. So B1, Monarch Content Management, LLC versus Arizona Department of Gaming. Is there any reason, update, or anyone need to go into executive session for this item? Hearing none, can we move on to then B2? All right, we'll move on to B2, Monarch Content Management, LLC versus Arizona Department of Gaming. Does anyone feel a need to go into executive session, discuss this item? I don't know, Kelly, is there any updates on anything? Or are we still status quo?
No change in the filings as far as what has taken place with the state matter. It would just be if the commission members had any questions about discussions that had happened up to this point or where the process or progress of that case was.
Okay. So any commissioner feel the need to go into executive session for this? All right, hearing none, we can move on to action item C1, implementation of Federal Horse Racing Integrity Act and next steps. We'll start with those who want to speak. C1, Jerry Sims, you've asked to speak to this. Did you need to speak to this item?
Not right at this moment.
Okay. Who has given us an update on this?
My understanding was Aiden with our office, Aiden Fleming, or Rudy Casillas, our director, was going to provide information.
All right, Rudy, are you or Aiden here? I know I saw Rudy earlier.
Yes, Chairman. I thought Aiden was going to provide an update. However, I'll try to give you what I know. Federal government did approve the legislation for the horse. We're waiting to see who gets appointed to these groups to administer the Horse Racing Act. So everything's kind of open-ended. I guess what we wanted to hear from the commission was whether or not you had any direction for the division regarding this implemented Horse Racing Act, and that if we should send anything to the Attorney General's office for a legal review.
And I don't know if you saw it, I think it was yesterday or the day before from RCI, they were looking for nominations for these various positions on this new thing. I didn't know if there was somebody you guys might be looking at for Arizona to submit to this, should it completely go through.
Mr. Chairman, this is Director Vogt. Just want to let you know that Aiden will be joining shortly, so if there are any additional questions, he might be able to field those as well too.
All right.
And there he is.
There's Aiden.
Opposed, there he is, me.
Yes, it's all. Aiden, any update on this?
Mr. Chairman, not too much of one. The bill was passed and signed, so the Horse Racing Integrity Act is moving forward. Essentially, we're in a holding pattern. They have to complete their committee assignments first. So that's going to be done hopefully within the first quarter of this year. I've briefed the governor's office and their budget team. There will be some policy decisions, obviously, by this body and the state at large that will have to be decided in the coming months. If the bill goes through without any type of court challenges that delay it, we could be seeing, I think the latest July 1st, 2022 is when it could be enacted, and we would have to respond by then. There's a number of mechanisms in the bill that require state response. Namely, if the state will contract with the federal authority, or if they will not contract with the federal authority, we will have to get new rules in place. We will also have to look over our statutes to make sure they comply with new federal oversight. But all of this is up in the air right now until they seat their actual committees. And once they seat their actual committees, they will come up with, in their first meetings, they will, I believe it's 60 days, they will send the state after meeting their plan moving forward with the idea of fees and, you know, taxation for additional oversight and under their purview. So essentially it's a waiting game at this point. However, like I said, I have briefed all the stakeholders and the parties in state government at least, and I am waiting for some feedback and guidance on that.
I don't know if you received it as well, or maybe Greg did receive, I think it was RCI was looking for nominations for these various committees. So I don't know if you've received that, and or if we were going to maybe look at somebody from Arizona to submit for these various committees.
Mr. Chair, I have not seen that document, but Greg may have received it.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have received the email from Ed Martin from the ARCI,
Right.
Looking for nominations, and we will discuss it with leadership, and we can report back to the commission.
Okay, good. So any other questions, comments from fellow commissioners on this item? And Aiden, there's nothing really right now that's pressing for us to make a decision on, correct?
Mr. Chair, correct. I will continue to give you email updates, and then I believe I can have an update every month if you would like at this meeting, and just to keep everybody in the loop and informed. But as soon as I hear something, I will definitely pass it on to the commission.
Okay, appreciate it. All right. Any other comments, questions from fellow commissioners? Hearing none, we will move on to item C2, submission deadlines of ARS 5-112, TNU, and IHA 3004, packets by permittees. Rudy, is this going to be you?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. This is a matter that I wanted to bring to the permittees' attention regarding submission for agenda items, action items. Going forward, the division will not be placing items on the agenda when the permittee submits at the last minute. And if packets are not complete by the permittee, receiving all documentation and approvals from all required entities, whether it be HPPA from other jurisdictions or the simulcast providers and what have you, it will not be put on the agenda. So this is just a heads up to the permittees going forward. We will not be putting special meetings out there for the commission. We realize that this is difficult to do, and commissioners have other obligations and responsibilities. So permittees, this is your advance notice that this activity will cease. If you don't have all documentation and approvals in place, it will not be put on the agenda.
Thank you. Had two people signed up for this. Dave Johnson, you there?
Yes, Chairman. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Rudy, first I'd like to compliment you on your background. That looks great. But I think that this is something that we really need to reconsider, and I can't tell you the importance of this. First off, you have to remember that we are at the mercy of the out-of-state jurisdiction. And whether we submit a packet with the out-of-state commission approvals and the out-of-state horseman's approval in a timely fashion that the director is speaking of, is going to be whether or not those out-of-state jurisdictions give us those approvals in a timely fashion. And I'm going to bring up just one example just to show you how detrimental this would probably be. Not probably, how detrimental this is going to be to our industry. In April, your commission meeting is probably going to be scheduled for April 8th. You will not have another meeting until the middle of May. The Kentucky Derby it runs on May 1st. The Churchill Downs race meet typically does not start until late April. It is almost a guarantee that we will not have approvals or contracts in place until sometime towards the third week of April, meaning we will not have approval to take Churchill Downs or the Kentucky Derby. Can you imagine what that would do to this industry? And so what I would like to do is maybe make a recommendation, and hopefully the commission will take this under consideration. Why not ask the permittees what tracks we plan to import over an entire year? We can submit those to the Racing Commission for approval. Pending the documentation, all the documentation required by the Interstate Horse Racing Act to be submitted before we import those signals to the Arizona Department of Gaming. Why can't we do something in that regard so that way we are not at the threat of losing something as important as the Kentucky Derby or any race signal for that matter? And I'll leave it at that, but I just want you guys to understand how important this topic is. I know there was a statute that was written, a bill that was written, and obviously this just goes to show you how little thought really went into this, and it puts you guys in a position. But why can't we do it this way, where you guys can give us an approval based on these are the tracks we intend to import for the year. We will not take them unless we have the proper documentation, which will be verified by the Arizona Department of Gaming. Because the last thing I think we want in this industry is to lose something as important as the Kentucky Derby or any racetrack. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Chairman, if I can address that, please.
Yes.
We have taken that into consideration, and to avoid having to have special meetings for approvals, we're looking at when a situation like this arises, when there's simulcasting that's going to be brought in or be shown in between commission meeting dates, that we would allow for the permittee to submit it prior to the implementation of those signals being broadcast for a conditional approval based on them getting all proper documentation. But this is an effort to eliminate having to have special meetings going forward.
Right, thank you. Mr. Arthur, Tom, are you there?
I'm here. Just a quick question. Director Casillas, what you said last minute, is there kind of a time frame on what a deadline would be?
Well, bottom line is that everybody knows when the signals are going to be broadcast, and for administrative purposes, in Cassie providing all details on the agenda, we need to have it done timely. These last-minute submissions of, one day prior to commission meetings, just not going to cut it. So I recommend that each permittee look at the dates and signals being broadcast that you're going to want and get the paperwork in timely as possible. We keep calling for the commissioners to have these special meetings, and it's making it very difficult to get everybody to get a quorum in place as they have their own job responsibilities out there. And, this is just getting more difficult as this progresses. So we're asking for your efforts to try to get this done timely as possible.
Okay, I appreciate what Dave Johnson just said. We don't like special meetings either, and we understand the trouble that causes you guys, so we will endeavor to get all our stuff together so that we don't need to deal with that. And but yes, we appreciate what that does to people that have other jobs. Thank you.
Just for the permittee's sake, we are not intentionally trying to eliminate any permittee from receiving the signals. That's why we have said if a signal is coming in between commission dates, we will accept those if they're timely to have conditional approvals.
Thank you, Rudy. I think that going forward, that should help out too. Is there any further discussion, comments from fellow commissioners regarding this item?
Chair Gray, if I may insert just a thought. If the commission wishes to, they could put a motion forward so that permittees are on notice, say that packets need to be submitted on the Monday before the commission meeting or the Friday before the commission meeting, so that it is clear to everyone involved what in a timely manner means. Obviously, if you're comfortable with the department moving forward on that, you can certainly do that, but that may provide some clarity.
Actually, and I think Friday before a commission meeting would be a little bit more beneficial, believe. So, yes, I would entertain a motion regarding this item.
Mr. Casillas, what would you and the department see as a appropriate amount of time?
Cassie, I'm going to defer to you on that since you have to schedule these.
Well, receiving the information timely, I like to get the meeting packets out to the commissioners by Friday to give them at least the weekend to go through, because sometimes these packages result in over 600 pages. So getting the information in maybe by Thursday morning, the week before the commission meeting, that would assist as far as in allowing me time to integrate them into the package and timely get it out on Friday to the commissioners for their review. That's my suggestion.
So it'd be Thursday before the commission meeting by 10 a.m. in the morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chuck, does that answer your question?
It does. Mr. Chair, I would move that we would, how am I going to say this? I would make a motion to
It would be to require permittees to
require permittees to have their packets fulfilled to the commission and to the department by 10 a.m. the Thursday prior to the next committee hearing.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Okay, the motion is made by Mr. Coolidge and seconded by Ms. Profiter. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Hover?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Profiter?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that motion carries to require the permittees to have their simulcast signal packets to the department by 10 a.m. on the Thursday before the commission meeting.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item C3, Tucson Greyhound Park, Greyhound Racing, simulcast MIS signal. I believe this is, Rudy, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the same that we have going right now for Phoenix Greyhound Park, correct?
Greg, would you respond to that?
Oh, Greg.
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, that is correct. It is the same signal that earlier last year that you approved for American Greyhound Racing. Tucson Greyhound Park is requesting that same approval. On that last approval that you made late last year, you asked a couple questions on the source of the signal, and I've done some research on Sports Information Services. They are a content provider of Greyhound and horse racing signals. What you have before you are, I believe, signals from 9 United Kingdom Greyhound tracks. Although they are an international company, you need to realize that the wagers are funneled through Sportech, which is a U.S. company. The delivery of the content is done by Roberts Communication, which is a company that normally handles Greyhound and horse racing signals. And the pools are hosted in the state of Oregon. So although it's international signals, the betting, the content communications are all in the U.S. So.
And being that it's in Oregon, do we need the, I don't even know if Oregon has a racing commission anymore.
Members of the commission, yes, Oregon does have a racing commission.
And have we reached out to get their approval regarding this?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I have not, but I can go ahead and do that. Research.
I believe that would be something we would need, at least going forward. I know we gave conditional approval on Phoenix Greyhound Park, but I think for both of them, we should have the Oregon Racing Commission approved on this, even though there's no Interstate Greyhound Racing Act. Would at least like to see that in place as well.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I can do that additional research and reach out to them and get that information for you.
All right. Is there, Alicia, did you want to speak regarding this item for the commission?
No, there's not much more I can say. I mean, we've got all the information written down there. I just spoke with Michelle over at SIS, and it is through the Oregon Racing Commission, and it is through EBETS. So there would be no problem getting their the approval from the Racing Commission, being Florida already is showing these greyhounds, and multiple other states have already picked them up, and I'm sure that approval was put out there.
All right. Is there any further questions, comments, discussion from fellow commissioners or staff members regarding this item? Hearing none, I would then entertain a motion to, I would think, at least give it a conditional approval till we get the Oregon Racing Commission's approval in place, which, Greg, I think you should have that by the next meeting.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I'll certainly try to meet that deadline.
Okay. All right, is there a motion out there?
I can make a motion that we give conditional approval to Tucson Greyhound Park pending Oregon's Racing Commission approval.
All right. Do we have a second?
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Profiter, seconded by Commissioner Hover to give conditional approval to Tucson Greyhound Park to obtain the Oregon Racing Commission's approval on the signal. Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Hover,
Yes.
Commissioner Profiter.
Yes.
That motion carries.
All right, thank you. And moving on to item C4, approval of Turf Paradise 2, the 2021 meet COVID-19 protocols. Got a couple of people here signed up. Mr. Vince Francia. Vince, I know I just saw you on my screen a couple of seconds ago.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am here at Turf Paradise. This was submitted to the commissioners, and that is the packet that has to do with the report to the commission on the coronavirus protocols here at Turf for the 84-day race meet and how are they working so far. I'm, of course, ready to answer any questions. If I could preface everything with an update of just where we stand with actual cases and how things have been unfolding here. And this is measured since the time that we let horses on the grounds to get ready for the race meet. So that's one meet 1 month prior to the day we started on January 4th. That's when the meet started. We are now in our second week. Since that time, we've had 22 incidences of positive coronavirus, and most of those are with management, and of those in management, most of those are with our OTB tellers. So we had one fatality, an OTB teller succumbed to the COVID-19 virus. Everyone else has quarantined and then got their negative test and is back at work. There have been 3 positives on the backstretch, and those people have quarantined, got their negative test, and they are back at work also. So that's an actual current update as to the numbers and how they are affecting us here at Turf.
Good job. I know when I was out a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday morning, observed everyone doing a good job of wearing their mask and maintaining their distance when they could. So good job to everyone back there on following the protocol from what I could see, and also good job to staff and how you've set up the licensing department with the tent outside and how you're working that. So much appreciated to everyone for everything you guys are doing there regarding this.
I compliment the horsemen. When we started out, it was, as all things different, it was a little touch and go, but everyone is wearing masks now, which is what we've requested. They understand why. So everyone is part of this effort of keeping everyone as safe as possible in order to get through the race meet. We feel the protocols, which are detailed in the report submitted to the commission, have gotten us this far. I will state they are fluid, and that if we see something that can be improved, we will improve on that area. We have our jockey colony safe, the protocols that we put in place there, keeping riders separate, bringing in additional cubicles, have all worked. We did have a rider test positive yesterday. The rider never entered the room. He is quarantined. His jockey agent is quarantined, and the 2 other riders that this agent have been contact traced and alerted. And the bulk of the actual implementation of these protocols, our security director here, Daniel Adams, he's the one that does it, and the security forces on ground daily to make sure everybody is doing what we expect them to, starting from something as simple as temperature checks as they come into the stable area, to the wearing of wristbands, and if contact tracing is necessary, it's Mr. Adams and or his officers that do it. And it's all flowing in the way that we hoped that it would. And as to when you look at the difference between the numbers I just gave you, as to people being infected and less so coming out of the stable area, I think one of the obvious things that we can conclude there is our horsemen are outside, and being outside in fresh air is an advantage, and that helps with the prevention of this virus from getting a hold, much less spreading. However, when we look at our OTB teller situation, and that we started to review with the mutual director yesterday, again, everybody that tested positive, most of those OTB tellers were quarantined, tested negative, and they're back at work. But we're looking at things that we can incorporate at the OTB sites that will give them even further protection. The reason being there is obvious. That is not outside. That is not in fresh air. They are in confined quarters, a restaurant or a bar. There's people going in and out, and the more exposure to different traffics of people seem to lead to the probability of someone having the virus making that apparent. So if there's any other questions the chairman has or the commission on the report, I would be happy to answer.
I actually have a question. I think it might be more directed towards Greg or director. Since it was brought up, OTBs are obviously Turf Paradise OTBs are following this, but I know we have others like Phoenix Greyhound Park and Tucson Greyhound Park. Are these protocols going to be in place for them as well?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I do work with all the committees on the COVID-19 protocols, including Arizona Downs, Tucson Greyhound Park, and American Greyhound Racing. So while inspections are continuing on these OTBs, I do believe that they're following proper protocols.
Okay, well, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Francia from other commissioners before I move on to the next person that's signed up? Okay, hearing none. Lloyd, are you there? Not seeing Lloyd. Okay. Not hearing Lloyd. Guess I would, is there any discussion, comments from fellow commissioners or staff regarding this before moving on to a motion for this? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the Turf Paradise protocol for COVID-19.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve Turf Paradise's 2020 COVID-19 protocols.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge motion to approve the Turf Paradise 2021 Meet COVID-19 protocols. Commissioner Profiter seconded. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Hover?
Yes.
Commissioner Profiter? Commissioner Profiter? I believe she is calling in, and I don't have a way of verifying that she didn't drop off. Commissioner Profiter, are you there? And the motion was made. We have a quorum, and it was seconded. So,
She's the one who seconded it.
yes. Kelly, do you have any input on how to proceed? Does she need to cast a vote on this if she seconded it? I don't know if she dropped out or not, or if she's having technical difficulties being on her phone.
I don't believe she needs to vote as long as it was motioned and seconded and the vote was put to the commission members with a quorum. They're fine.
Right, but I would like to give her a little time to join back up before moving on to the next item.
I did just receive a text from her saying I am on and I vote yes, but You cannot hear me is what she says. So apparently there are some, and we have been having some problems here in the office. Our IT indicated yesterday that they were having some phone line issues and computer problems, so that may be part of the issue. So Kelly, shall we proceed then?
Proceed, but unless we can hear her, we can't accept her vote
Right.
just through a text.
I get that. So, but we have our quorum that voted positive or voted to approve it, so we're okay to move on then?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this is Director Vogt. Just before we move on, may I be heard?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Really, I just, first off, to Mr. Francia, sorry to hear about the individual who passed away at the OTB due to COVID. But I really want to commend everybody putting these protocols into place. I mean, we know how crowded the backside can get, and the fact that the numbers are so low, it's showing that folks are abiding by these and doing everything they can to keep this meet as safe as possible. So I just want to congratulate everybody, not only at Turf Paradise, but the racing division team that's out there. So thank you to everybody.
Yes, I would exactly say what you did. From what I've seen, my visits out there, everyone is doing a great job, and it's just a team effort. And so appreciate everything everyone's doing. We'll get through this together. All right. Moving on to item C5, Turf Paradise request for a 45-day extension to file potential motion for review and rehearing pursuant to the AAC R19-2-124F. Rudy, did you have anything to add on this?
Okay, that was easy. Yeah, that's what it is.
David?
Excuse me, Chair Garay, I have a request from Commissioner Profiter saying that she's going to hang up and try calling back in, and asked if we could wait a moment and give her an opportunity to get in so she can hear this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Shall we take a 5-minute break?
That's certainly fine with me on this end.
Okay, I would entertain a motion for a 5-minute break.
I'd like to make a motion for a 5-minute break.
I'll second it. Madam Secretary?
Thank you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Hover?
Yes.
Thank you. The time is 10:38 a.m. The motion was made and seconded and carries to go take a 5-minute break to allow Commissioner Profiter an opportunity to get back into the meeting. So we're recessed for 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And do the roll call.
All right, ready to get going again.
Thank you. The time is 10:43, and we are back in open session and reconvening the meeting. Commissioner Coolidge?
Present.
Commissioner Garay?
Present.
Commissioner Hover?
Here.
Commissioner Profiter?
Here.
Thank you. We have our quorum. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Moving on to item C5, Turf Paradise request for a 45-day extension to file potential motion for review and rehearing pursuant to AAC R19-2-124F concerning the December 10th, 2020 Commission decision. We have a couple of people signed up to speak regarding this item, so I will go to them first. Mr. Paul Johnson, you with us?
Yes, I am. Mr. Chairman, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, this is Paul Johnson for Turf Paradise. Turf is requesting a 45-day extension of the time to request review or rehearing of the Monarch Signals issue that was decided by the commission at its December 10th meeting. There are several reasons for this. Not only did we have the holiday season, but Turf and Turf officials have been extremely focused on preparing for and running the race meet that began on January 4th and is going to continue until May 1st. This race meet, as you just heard from Mr. Francia, is particularly difficult in the midst of the COVID crisis and having to comply with the various COVID protocols set by government officials and the commission, and dealing with this fluid situation as it unfolds to try and keep everyone safe. As everyone knows, this race meet is very important because it benefits the entire horse racing industry in Arizona. But because of the COVID situation, it's particularly time consuming. Council, that's me, I've also been occupied with several time consuming cases and the difficulty of working remotely. And just as an analogy, the courts in this state have been particularly liberal in granting extensions during the COVID crisis. So this extension will provide turf and its counsel with appropriate time to consider the matter and to take appropriate action as necessary. So I ask that this be approved. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dave or Tom, I don't know which one of you will end up showing up speaking, but one of the Arthur brothers would like to speak, I believe.
This is Dave Arthur. Back when I was a real lawyer, if counsel on the other side called and said he needed additional time to file something because of a personal matter or because of COVID or whatever, I automatically would give him that extension. In this case, I didn't get a call, but I would have said I have no objection to it. And that's what I say today. It potentially is an appeal of an issue that's very important to us. And if it was up to me, I would recommend that they don't file an appeal at all. But if they're going to do it and they need more time, then we don't object. We'd rather have it be 30 days instead of 45 days, and perhaps we could settle for that. But I'll leave that up to your good judgment as to the ruling on this request. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, any discussion from staff or fellow commissioners regarding this item? All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion regarding the approval of an extension regarding this item.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve Turf Paradise's request for a 45-day extension to file a potential motion for review.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Thank you. The motion is to approve Turf Paradise request for a 45-day extension to file a potential motion for review and rehearing. And it has been made by Commissioner Coolidge, seconded by Commissioner Hover. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge. Commissioner,
yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Hover?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Profiter?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 6, Arizona's down request for OTB facilities. The first one would be A. Dubliner Bar and Grill on Thunderbird Road. Mr. Stiles?
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Arizona Downs has petitioned the commission to open the Dubliner Bar and Grill at 40th Street and Thunderbird. You have in front of you the plan of operations. We've been inspecting that facility. It's a very popular local hangout in that community, and all paperwork is in order, including the City of Phoenix approval.
And all licensing's in order, taken care of?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, yes, it is.
Okay, cool. Any questions, comments from fellow commissioners regarding Dubliner Bar and Grill OTB?
Greg, or I guess my request would be Arizona Downs and Greg, how far is the Dubliner Bar and Grill from the next OTB? The nearest OTB, I should say.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Chairman Coolidge, I am not, the closest one I could see would probably be at 28th Street in Bell. That's just off the top of my head. I did not research that as far as how close it was to any OTB. There's a OTB at 28th Street in Bell called Casey Jones. That would probably be the closest location. There's another OTB at 64th Street in Bell. That may be 2-3 miles away.
Thank you. If it's at 28th and Bell, it's probably more than a mile, I assume.
I have an answer to that. Let me raise my hand.
Your hand's raised, you may speak.
Okay, this is Dave Author. We're the Dubliner is about 3.2 miles away from Casey Jones and about 5.2 miles away from Marina, which is the other one that Craig pointed out.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, any other questions, comments from fellow commissioners regarding item 6A, Dubliner Bar and Grill OTB?
Excuse me, sir, I have a hand raised from Mr. Johnson at Turf Paradise to address the commission.
Mr. Johnson, you may speak.
I just wanted to point out to you, at the last Racing Commission meeting, you guys approved Long Shots Bar and Grill for an OTB for us. That is 4 miles straight down the road from the Dubliner.
Okay. All right. Any other hands raised? Any
No, sir.
questions, comments from fellow commissioners regarding this item? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion regarding this item.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the Arizona Downs request for off-track betting facilities for the Dubliner Bar and Grill.
All right. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second that.
I second.
All right, Holly beat you. We have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Thank you. Motion and second to approve. Motion made by Commissioner Coolidge, seconded by Commissioner Hover for the Dubliner Bar and Grill for Arizona Downs. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Hover,
Yes.
Commissioner Profiter.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries.
All right, we have one other for item 6B at JJ's Grub Shack, 2501 West Happy Valley Road. Mr. Stiles?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Arizona Downs is petitioned for JJ's Grub Shack, which is basically at the I-17 and Happy Valley Road interchange up there. You have in front of you the plan of operation, also the City of Phoenix approval. To answer any questions that you may have on how close it is to other OTBs, there is an OTB which is several miles north of this one on Carefree Highway. I think it's Azules. Arizona Downs also has another one up there, but I do not believe it's in a vicinity within a mile of any other OTB, or 2 miles for that matter. So that kind of gives you an idea. It's in far north Phoenix, in a very popular community, popular shopping center up there.
Probably the closest would be actually the physical track itself, Turf Paradise, I think.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, that would be, I would suspect, more than 4 or 5 miles north of the racetrack.
Sir, I see you have raised your hand, so I'll let you speak.
Yeah, this particular OTB is more than 6 miles from Azules and more than 6 miles from the Berg, which is the other Turf Paradise OTB. So we're more than 6 miles from the closest, more than 6.5 miles actually from the closest Turf Paradise OTB. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Greg, all licensing's in order, correct?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, yes, it is.
All right, thank you. Any comments, questions from fellow commissioners regarding JJ's Grub Shack OTB?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve Arizona Downs request for off-track betting facilities at JJ's Grub Shack.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Coolidge to approve JJ's Grub Shack for Arizona Downs as an OTB location. Commissioner Profiter, second. Roll call. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Hover?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Profiter?
Yes.
That motion carries.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item 7, simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA Section 3004. The first one is A, Arizona Downs, number 1, Oak Lawn Park, anticipated dates 1/22 through 2020. 1/22/2021 through 5/1/2021. Mr. Stiles?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Arizona Downs has petitioned the commission to grant the access for the import of Oaklawn Park, which is a major signal for the spring. I will let you know that the AZHBPA approval is only good through February 15th of 2021. I have been in contact with the HBPA, and I am aware that their talks are ongoing, but at this time, that approval for the import of any signal expires on February 15th of 2021. All paperwork is in order. Both the the Arkansas Racing Commission, as well as the HBPA, Horsemen's representatives, they have their approvals in order.
All right. And let's see, I think I have Mr. Arthur. Tom, did you need to speak regarding this?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Stiles. Oh, sorry, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Coolidge.
Mr. Stiles, my question to you is the HBPA approval, is that for Arizona Downs as well as Turf Paradise? They're both on that February 15th date?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Coolidge, for Arizona Downs, again, the approval from the Arizona HBPA is through February 15th of 2021. The approval for Turf Paradise is through May 31st of 2021. However, the Oaklawn meet ends on May 1st of this year. So the approval for Turf Paradise would essentially cover it for the entire meet.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, so for Oaklawn, for Arizona Downs, if we would approve it, we would need to do it through the February 15th with a conditional that should you get the remaining approval, that they are then approved through May 1st, 2021, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve Arizona Downs simulcast horse racing import signal for Oakland Park conditionally until February 15th, or excuse me, until May 1st. Well, let me just redo that so it's cleaner. Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the simulcast horse racing import signals for Arizona Down in Oakland Park for the anticipated dates to May 1st, 2021, conditionally that the HPPA extends their approval through February 15th, 2021.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
All right. Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second.
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Coolidge is to approve the Oakland signal for Arizona Downs conditionally through May 1st, 2021, unless they are unable to secure the approval of Arizona HBPA, and at that point it would expire on February 15th, 2021. And Commissioner Profiter is seconded. Roll call. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Hover?
Yes.
Commissioner Profiter?
Yes.
That motion carries.
All right. Next item is 7B, Turf Paradise, Oakland Park. Anticipated dates 1/22/2021 through 5/1/2021. Mr. Stiles.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, Turf Paradise is requesting the import of Oaklawn Park. Once again, the Oaklawn Park meet starts January 22nd, and runs through May 1st, which is Kentucky Derby Day. We do have the Arkansas Racing Commission as well as the Arkansas Horsemen's approval for this import, and everything's in order.
All right. Any questions, comments from fellow commissioners regarding this item?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the simulcast horse racing import signals for Turf Paradise's Oakland Park meet and the anticipated dates.
All right. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second that.
All right. Madam Secretary, we have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Commissioner Coolidge. Motion to approve the Oaklawn Park for Turf Paradise. Commissioner Hover has seconded. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes.
Commissioner Gray.
Yes.
Commissioner Hover.
Yes.
Commissioner Profiter.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries.
All right. Thank you. Next item is D, information reports, track safety reports. Mr. Stiles.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, as of this time, there's over about 1,400 horses on the backside, which is the largest horse population in some time. As you heard earlier, for the most part, these horsemen are coming from all over New Mexico, California, and every state in between. They've been at racetracks in other states that have COVID-19 protocols, so they are adhering to mask wearing. We do have some few individuals that we have to keep reminding them to wear their mask. I believe there has been a couple dozen citations, warnings, I'll call them.
Mr. Stiles, you've frozen.
Any type of COVID-19 protocol violations. In December, you heard about 3 projects on the backside that needed fixing. The 5-furlong gap fence has been fixed. It's in good condition. The bridle path still needs additional maintenance, but we are working with track management to have that done. And then you heard about a 40-foot section of fencing leading into the paddock that has temporary railings in place that can create a hazard for the horses. That project has not been started, needs to be completed, and needs to be fixed before a horse gets entangled in the temporary railings and could suffer injury. With the horse population, the training track was opened last Monday. Initial reports from the horsemen have been positive, and it certainly helps with the traffic on the main track to where some of these people can pony their horses on the training track. As with any improvements that can be discussed, we have received several complaints about the restrooms in rows A, B, C, and D. It may be suggested, and we'll work with the committee on obtaining porta-johns for that area. That would help. We're hearing some plumbing issues, and so porta-johns may help in that area. Additionally, the cleaning of the outside grandstand area, which is the apron that is open to the public. That's not being done every day, but that can be improved upon. I've spoken with management about that, and I am optimistic that that'll be taken care of. In terms of horse fatalities, since December when the horses were allowed back, we've had 1 race-related afternoon fatality and 2 morning workout-related fatalities. 1 was this morning. All 3 of those have been sent to Midwestern for necropsies. We will get those reports back in the next couple weeks, and then we will start our necropsy review meetings with everybody at that point in time. And lastly, I was just informed this morning that unfortunately there was a report of a medical emergency of a licensee on the backside where that male licensee expired. I know nothing more than that, and we'll be working with track management on the specifics of the issue. I do know that Phoenix Police was out there, and as soon as I have more information, I will keep the Arizona Department of Gaming leadership apprised of the situation, as well as the Racing Commission on this unfortunate incident.
All right, thank you. And before I go to Mr. Francia, how are we comparable to the with the injuries and fatalities compared to last year's opening month and opening week?
Mr. Chair, was that question directed to me or Mr. Francia?
Directed to you. I was just curious if we're doing better as far as fatalities and injuries compared to last year when everyone arrived in the opening week.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, last year the meet started in October. I do believe we had a couple of fatalities, and this is coming off of memory, not of the review of the report. I do believe we had a couple racing fatalities in October. At this point in time, I would say it's pretty comparable to the meet prior.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Francia, you've signed up for this item, so we'll let you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Commissioners. Just to review what Mr. Stiles went over, absolutely correct. Let me address the 40 section of railing, which is by the chute where the horses come up and enter the paddock. We are going to get that taken care of. My department heads, by and large, have my confidence in prioritizing what needs to be done first. And this particular repair has gotten pushed back because other things need to be done, but it's on our radar and we will get it done. In regards to the gentleman who expired in the stable area last night, I was notified at 9 p.m. at night by Security Director Daniel Adams of what had taken place. He was leaving his home in Mesa to come to the track and be on site. Phoenix Police was here as well as Phoenix medics responding. What it appears that this time as the gentleman suffered a heart attack. More information will be coming from them. The grandstand, that one got away from me before we opened. We power washed everything in the grandstand, and through the first week of racing, nobody was really using it. And now that we are in the second week and the sun is a little bit warmer, people are. And it caught my attention on Tuesday that this is messy, so we now have it on a cleaning schedule. One of the things that's causing a mess, the horse players have this custom, I'm not sure how it originated, and that is if they have losing mutual tickets, they will throw them on the ground, even though there's a trash receptacle right there. It's some sort of custom. I'm not sure how that developed. Be that as it may, that is now on our schedule to be cleaned often during the week.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments from fellow commissioners regarding track safety report?
Do we have Mr. Guessman on the line as well?
Yes, I think I saw him. Yes, Leroy's here.
Thanks, Leroy. Do you have any updates on your end as far as the track issues that you brought to us, in addition to what Mr. Stiles has brought up?
Yes, Commissioner. I brought up in the last meeting that we needed to get the training track open. That has been opened, and I want to thank Romero, the track superintendent, and his staff. They worked diligently after my request, and it has been open now since Monday. The reports I'm getting back from exercise riders is it's in good shape. After setting for 10 months with no use, it is worked up and been in good condition. We are continually battling with restrooms. We are meeting with the cleaning people tomorrow, Mr. Francia and I. Hopefully we will make some progress with the cleaning company after that meeting. Everything else, I don't really have any concerns with on track safety other than, I had the concern of getting the training track open, and it's been opened. Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you for the update.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to D2, budget reports. I'm not sure if it's going to be Mr. Casillas or Jason.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I don't believe that Jason LaForce is on. I did have a conversation with him this morning, and we have absolutely no concerns with the budget at this time.
All right. Any questions, comments from fellow commissioners regarding this item? I did have one question. We had heard the last meeting regarding the Healthy Horse, Healthy Human program. Is there going to be more drug testing of humans on the backside? And if so, do we have that budgeted?
Mr. Chairman, yes, we will be doing more random drug testing as we go forward. We have not actually put together any particular budget for it at this point. However, I don't believe that it's going to be a problem going forward.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, questions regarding the budget report? Okay. Hearing none, we will now move on to D3, permitting reports not to exceed 3 minutes. First one up is American Greyhound Racing.
Hi, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. We have no update this month. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Arizona Downs.
Hi, it's Tom Author. We just a couple updates. One, we're continuing to work with the Horsemen to set a meet date in May, and that's going well. So hopefully we'll have a good report on that next meeting. For those that have asked, why are we not showing the Turf Paradise signal in our OTBs? We're trying to. Dave Johnson and I have gone back and forth on a couple occasions. We're going to put up a deposit, which is 1.5 times our balance of last year. We've agreed to do that. There are other issues that keep cropping up, but I'm optimistic that we can get that figured out in the next couple days. It's important to us, especially given the fact that so many people are at the OTBs now because they can't watch the meet live. So hopefully next meeting we'll have that signal and help the Horsemen make a little bit more money. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County Fairs. Do not have anyone signed up for that, and I'm not seeing any representative. So we'll move on to Rolito Park. No one signed up for that, and I'm not seeing Mr. Weiss here. I do not see him. So we can move on to Tucson Greyhound Park. Alicia, are you still with us?
Still here. I want to thank you for tentatively approving my UK signals. I mean, we've lost so much since we lost Florida. Hopefully this will help gain some attraction again, get some new blood in here possibly, and just new tracks running. There's no changes here as far as anything else goes. We are following all COVID-19 rules. We have a sign on the door that we've been approved by Pima County, and so has all my OTBs. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Turf Paradise, Mr. Friend. I was going to say Mr. Johnson because I see your picture, but I see Dave's name, but it's Mr. Francia.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, let me backtrack to the bathrooms, which was brought up under track safety. I should have mentioned it there. Mr. Gessman and I are working together on this. What we've been able to discover so far is that the A through D roads, especially the D row, it's becoming problematic on a weekly basis where the toilet facilities back up. What we've been able to determine is those bathrooms were put in 1956, whereas in comparison, the K row, those stables and bathroom facilities were put in the mid-70s. So I think a difference of sewage technology, for lack of better description, is probably weighing a factor. We continue to unclog them and get them operational. Mr. Gessman did suggest that we might have to bring in porta potties for the problematic bathrooms in those roles. Keep the showers open because they're functioning fine. Anyways, we have some ways to go. As Mr. Guessman mentioned, tomorrow he's going to meet with the cleaning service that takes care of that. Now to Turf Paradise, we're in the 9th day of the 84-day session, except for yesterday. We've been up every day in our handle, which is very encouraging. And this is without the turf course being in operation, which is very popular with the horse players. What happened with the turf course was nobody's fault. When we closed in March the 14th, we suspended all activity, and that activity included, or that suspension included, not taking care of the turf course during the summer, where we continue to water it, and that fosters growth with the Bermuda, so that when we open in the fall, we already have a base grass, and that is Bermuda. Bermuda grass also is a deeply rooted grass as compared to the winter rye, which we have now. So when we started racing it in the early part of the meet, the jockeys found it safe and raceable, but they were really just digging it up, and we could see that if we continue to run on it, it's going to damage it, and we're not going to be able to continue. So we have been off of it. Last Saturday, the turf course was infused with liquid iron, and what that does, that's like a human booster shot. That liquid goes right to the roots, then it starts. Then that was followed with a nitrate fertilizer. I was on the course Tuesday. I can already see the difference from Wednesday. We're scheduled to go back on the turf on January 25th. Then hopefully this corrective action will be able to take us through the rest of the meet. Handle-wise, we've been doing really wonderful. The on-track attendance, every day is where we want it. It's about 60 people a day. We can manage that, make sure everybody's safe. And they're all wearing their masks, but to keep them socially distanced. So, so far so good. And thanks not only to the Turf Paradise staff for putting in extra hours, but to the horsemen for really coming through. One of the things that I've initiated this year is I go on the Arizona horse racing site, Turf Paradise site, and I'm keeping in communication with the horsemen. And I find out that helps, because when you have one person, a manager, making decisions that affects many, it's best to keep them informed as to why you're making that decision and how you arrived at it. And that's led to a positive back and forth, so that when we are making changes or adding things or doing things, the horsemen know right up front. So that's been very positive. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments for Mr. Francia? All right, thank you. Hope everyone's doing a good job there, so we can move on to item D4, optional industry stakeholder association updates, not to exceed 3 minutes. Arizona Counties Racing Association. I do not believe we have anyone from them here with us. Now we'll see if Loretta can join us. Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association. Loretta? I see she's muted, but. All right, we'll move on to Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. All right. Hopefully we'll get somebody for the next one. HBPA, Leroy, I know you were there.
Yes, Chairman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Leroy Guessman with the Arizona HBPA. Fellow commissioners, I want to thank you for all you've done as far as helping us get this meet up and running. I have to agree with Greg and Mr. Francia. The way the COVID protocols has gone has been unbelievable. And the way, I mean, I'm just real happy the way the horsemen have participated. Yes, we have some that don't like to wear masks and some we have to yell at now and then, but overall, the majority of the people are wearing masks, and the other protocols are being followed, and not having hardly any breakouts has been fabulous. I would have never thought we got 2 months into this and only have 2 or 3 positives of horsemen back here. I also want to compliment the training track again. That was it's been a big help to get that open. The turf course, we're all anxious to get back on it, but we understand the root system and the importance of getting a good root system on the turf course in order to run on it. So we'll be anxious to have that back open. I did want to make one case or one comment on the national legislation. There will be, I can tell you, there is going to be some lawsuits filed. There's several different entities looking at filing lawsuits on the constitutionality of the federal bill. So I just wanted to update you on that. I don't really have any other things to report on. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you, Leroy. Jockeys Guild. Did not see Daryl or Scott. All right, hearing none, we can move on to the next item, E, Commission Reports. Number 1, summary of current events affecting the Arizona Racing Commission. Only commission members or the director may report. Mr. Casillas, did you have anything for this item?
No, sir, I did not.
All right, thank you. Anything from fellow commissioners? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to item 2, identification of matters to be placed on future agendas. Is there anything anyone needs to have added to a future agenda? All right, hearing none, we will move on to F, call to the public. I do have 2 people signed up for call to the public. We'll start with Mr. Paul Johnson. Did you need to speak during this time, or was earlier what you were looking for? All right, I do not think Mr. Johnson's still with us, so we will move on to Mr. Bob Berry.
Yeah, I'm on here. Hopefully you can hear me and maybe see me. I'm not sure.
Yes, we can see you and hear you.
All right. Well, thank you, Chairman, and the rest of the commission, and Cassie for doing such a great job. I just wrote down a statement because I want to let everybody know what it's like being a horse player in Arizona at this time. Well, my name is Bob Berry, and I've been an Arizona resident since 1995. During that time, my wife and I have been to 17 Breeders' Cups. We visited Turf Paradise at least 300 times. We've been to Rolito Downs, Prescott Downs, Javapai Downs, Arizona Downs, and I am one of thousands of Arizonans that wager on racing, thus a direct contributor to the roughly 20% that is withheld from the wagering pot to pay for purses, track expenses, and OTB costs. During this 25 years, I wagered on every Breeders' Cup, every Triple Crown race except for last year's Preakness, held at Pimlico Racetrack since 1873, but purchased by the Stronach Group in 2002. The Stronach Group is a Canadian company with over 200 holdings, including my favorite track to bet on, Santa Anita. But I haven't been able to bet on one single race there for an entire year now because of a single blackout by Monarch Content Management, LLC, which has 2 addresses, one of them at the Stronach Group headquarters in Aurora, Ontario, Canada, and the other one is listed as being at Santa Anita Park. Stronach Monarch have advanced deposit wagering on a site called expressbet.com, which is being reimaged into first.com, and is also the ADW engine for drfbets.com. ExpressBet is highly profitable because they get a big chunk of the 20% not put into the pari-mutuel wagering system when bets are made online. And this is the first.com mission statement: to reinvent the sport of thoroughbred horse racing and gaming, to achieve a world-class level of safety for horses and riders, to provide a unique and fully engaging entertainment experience for our guests and online wagerers, to ensure rewarding and sustainable careers for our employees, and First is dedicated to working at every stable and track with our enterprise to set the gold standard for horse safety and horse care. But clearly the Stronach Group doesn't care about online wagerers from Arizona since their tracks have been blocked for a year. I was wondering if it's possible that the Arizona Department of Gaming would consider blocking expressbet.com, first.com, and drfbets.com from operating their ADW sites in Arizona. Respectfully, disgusted racing lover, Bob Berry. And thank you for letting me speak.
That is the last I have. Madam Secretary, was there anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, it is Paul Johnson. I would like to make a short statement.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, the floor is yours.
I appreciate Mr. Berry's comments, but he and the commission should know that Turf Paradise and Monarch have been trying to get Monarch's signal imported into Arizona. And that's what some of the controversy has been about, and that's what we've got in our extension to challenge the Commission's vote at the December 10th meeting. So I know Monarch and Turf are trying to get those signals, including the one from Santa Anita, imported into Arizona. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. That's the end of my list. Madam Secretary, was there anyone else that texted you?
No, sir, nobody else has raised their hand.
All right. Next item is announcements. And just a reminder for everyone, I believe Monday is the day that Arizona legislative session opens up, so you might want to give that some consideration for items. But the next regular scheduled commission meeting will be at 10 a.m. on Thursday, February 11th, 2021, most likely right here in the same electronic conference room. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary?
Thank you, Commissioner Coolidge. Motion to adjourn. Commissioner Hover seconded. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge.
Yes.
Commissioner Garay.
Yes.
Commissioner Hover.
Yes.
Commissioner Profiter.
Yes.
That motion carries, and it is now 11:27 a.m. and this meeting, I believe, would be adjourned. Mr. Gray? Thank you. You're muted, but we're adjourned at 11:27 a.m.
Oh, yep. Thank you, everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you in a month.